Well, have I got a treat for you today. We are doing another Helminth build guide. Yeah, it's been a couple of days since the last one, but you know, I'm working on stuff. Today we're going to take a look at Inaros. I know, right? So, when the Helminth system came out, people were kind of excited for, like, just Inaros, actually, because typically, the way you play Inaros is like you don't really care all that much about your abilities, right? He's just sort of like his abilities aren't that good or all that, but he's a tank, so he's just got infinite health and whatever. So people just pick Inaros, they don't care about the abilities, they just want an immortal tank and they just want to shoot things with their guns, and that's fine. But, like, I like being able to be a bit creative with the Helminth system and come up with, like, new sort of playstyles that weren't really a thing before. So, when I look at what other people have done with Inaros, with the Helminth system, it's like, yeah, everyone's putting Warcry on him to just give him some more attack speed and give him some more armor, but, man, that's boring. That is boring. Or Elemental Ward to give him even more health, so he's got 12,000 health instead of 10,000 health. Man, that's boring. No, let's get creative with this. So when I looked over Inaros' ability set, there are like a couple of things that stand out to me. Number one, his passive ability, not the one that he becomes a tomb when he dies, but his other passive ability, which is a bit more interesting. Now, it doesn't say what it is here, right? This little tooltip only tells you that you can revive, and it'll be a tomb when you're dead or whatever. But it doesn't tell you that he has a second passive ability. And his second passive ability is that he heals himself for quite a lot, like 20% of his health, whenever he kills an enemy with a finisher. Yeah! Bet you didn't know that Inaros had finisher synergy. And additionally, his number one ability, Desiccation, that blinds enemies, that opens them up to finishers. So that's kind of what you're supposed to do in the gameplay. Like, most people, like, I don't know, maybe you use your Scarab Swarm to give yourself a bunch of armor, and then you want to heal yourself somehow. So people just, like, devour enemies or something to heal themselves, and it's super slow. But no, use finishers to heal yourself. That's way, way faster. So, once I sort of started to think that, you know, oh, Inaros has finisher synergy, well, naturally, I gravitated toward Banshee and Silence. And the reason why is because it's another way, besides his number one, to open up enemies for finishers. It's another form of crowd control, just like his number one, so they kind of both accomplish the same thing. Depending on what you need in a moment. And it has an augment. Savage Silence, which makes it so that your finisher damage is increased by 300% while Silence is active, which is quite a lot. And with some power strength, just, you know, 155, that's nothing crazy, it's up to 564% finisher damage. So, let's look at these damage numbers, by the way. Just let's start. I'm just gonna show you. Okay. We got some corrupted heavy gunners here. Level 175. I hit them with the normal attack. Alright, it does a bit of damage. But not that much damage, right? Alright, well, now let's open them up to a finisher. Okay. That's about half his health bar or whatever. And now, for the third part of the puzzle, activate Silence, open them up to a finisher, dead. Yeah, that's dead. Dead. That's it. You don't even need, like, combo. These are level 175 heavy gunners, and they get one-shotted by that. So the damage numbers can get pretty stupid. And, like I said, every time I do this, I heal myself for 20% of my health. And also, you might have noticed that I went invisible there. That is because part of this build is using the Skiajati. The Skiajati has a unique ability. Doesn't say here, but it does. In that when you kill enemies with a finisher, with the Skiajati, you go invisible for 5 seconds. Or just when you hit the finisher. Now, this invisibility will break when you just do a normal attack. So it's not like Ivara and her invisibility, where you can just keep on meleeing and stay invisible. No. But this is kind of important anyway, because a semi-recent change, to give stealth frames like Ivara, Ash, and Loki a bit more survivability, is that when your invisibility breaks and you become visible again, it takes a little while for enemies to target you again. They won't target you and start shooting at you immediately. It's gonna take like a second, 2 seconds, something like that, before they find you again. So this actually creates a pretty fun gameplay loop with Inaros, where you're just constantly staying in silence. You can approach enemies and you can sort of like just get a finisher in here and there just from silence. But mostly you shut off their AI. They won't do any special attacks. They will only do their normal attacks. They get stunned for a bit when you approach them. You use desiccation to open them up for a finisher. You turn yourself invisible. They lose track of you. And then you pop back out to keep on swinging with your melee. Before they have time to like sort of get their bearings on you again, you can pop another desiccation, you blind them. You hit someone with a finisher, you go invisible. And if you just repeat this sort of loop, what happens is that you're just confusing your enemies so much that they are not shooting at you, like at all. They are just not attacking you because they can't get their bearings straight. And this super works, and it's normally you like you play Inaros as a tank, but you don't have to here, because Inaros just, I mean, what's the point of being a tank if your enemies are just not hitting you at all? But to that end, let's look at the build, because if an enemy actually does hit you, then we have some options here. Obviously, he has a big chunky health bar. I have added adaptation, which is nice. It provides a measure of survivability. And even if like enemies shoot at you while you're in like performing a finisher, that still gives you I guess stacks, because it just counts when you get hit. It doesn't, I guess it doesn't count if you actually take damage or not. Who knows? I like the arcanes that synergize with taking damage. Specifically, Arcane Grace is very important because it gives you a lot of healing when you take damage. So you just heal back up to full pretty fast. Arcane Avenger, I was actually a bit disappointed by in playtesting, because you don't get damaged often enough to trigger this. But when you do, you get like a lot more sort of like crit chance, which is nice. Other than that, like if you have like an Umbra format to spare, because I don't know, maybe you're an Inaros main, maybe you like just popping Umbra form in there. This is actually a build that can take advantage of all 3 Umbral mods, because you do want more vitality, you do want some more power strength, and you do want some more armor. So if you can pop Umbral fiber here instead of normal steel fiber, it's going to give you more health, more ability strength, more armor, and it's probably going to be pretty good for this build. So that's something you can do. Other than that, Negation Swarm is a fantastic survivability tool. It makes it so that when you have your Scarab Swarm active, you are basically immune from status effects. That counts for like toxin effects, slash effects, knockdowns. Basically, anytime you would be suffering from a status effect, instead it removes 3% of your bonus armor. And when that happens, you can just top yourself off and just activate it again, because Scarab Swarm doesn't actually cost all that much energy. It's very low with the efficiency I have. It just drains your health. But when you drain your health, you can just, open up an enemy for finishers with Desiccation or Silence, hit them with a finisher, and you get all your health back. So that's fine. It just won't cost you anything. I do want to have some efficiency on this build, or quite a lot actually, because I want to spam desiccation. I want to be throwing sand in my, like just pocket sand in enemies' faces all the time. All the time. So it's just gonna cost you 10 energy a pop with this much. I haven't bothered giving myself more energy because I never felt like energy was really that much of a problem, because you don't, like, yeah, once every 30 seconds you pop a silence and then you throw out pocket sand all the time. It won't cost you that much. If you're worried about energy though, I guess you can use Arcane Energize instead of Arcane Avenger, but other than that, you're pretty fine the way it is. So it's a pretty standard build. I'm not using the normal way of building Inaros, right? See what's missing here? You don't see like 1,000 armor or 12,000 health or whatever. Because I don't need to. I don't need to, because enemies are not shooting at me. So, what you do is just, you know, I'm gonna show you in practice here as well. I mean, you've seen it already, but... Alright. We're just gonna top ourselves off here. Oh, it's gonna take a while. Because, you know, he's still at 5,400 health. It's fine. So, if we just clear all of these, remove the paused AI, boom, now they're active. You do your silence. They don't know what's going on. I removed their targeting by turning invisible, so they don't know what's going on. Hey! They still don't know what's going on. Like, as you can see, I'm not really being attacked by enemies all that much. Oh no, they're attacking me. Well, pocket sand. And now everyone lost their targeting. Which is fine. And since I have Negation Swarm, I don't have to worry about, like, getting one-shotted by some weird status effect. Not to mention that silence, in general, prevents enemies from using any of their weird abilities. So they're just gonna do their normal attacks anyway, right? And, you know, oh no, someone's shooting at me. Well, now they're not, because I pocket sanded them. And I kind of like this way of playing Inaros, because, hey, this is a version of Inaros that's actually using his abilities. Ain't that something? Yeah, it's not just set it and forget it, run around with some extra armor and then not pay attention to your ability buttons. No, you're using your 3, you're using your 1. You make sure that you're always topped off with your number 4, so it's always at 100%, just to be safe. That being said, you're not using Devour in this. And when it came to this build, it doesn't matter if you replace Devour or Sandstorm, because both of those are just kind of bad abilities, to be honest. And you're not going to use either one of them. But hey, 3 out of 4 is nice. Having an Inaros that actually actively uses 3 out of his 4 skills, man, that's great, isn't it? That's fantastic. That's what we've always wanted. Yeah. So that's the build. It is Silence Inaros. Kind of a melee monster, to be honest. And it's a new way of playing what is already a lot of people's favorite frame. So if you wanna, you know, if you're one of those Inaros mains who just wanna, you know, try something different and see a different way of playing this frame, this is something I can absolutely recommend, because it's fun, it's efficient, and he's kind of a beast. Yeah. Silence Inaros.